Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a discussion for you that I have broken down into two different sections. So this has been something I want to talk about for a while. I kind of talked about it in my BookTube Real Talk tag, which I'll link down below, about romance. And as you see from the title, I am requesting people to stop shaming romance readers. Now, I feel like this isn't the best platform to do this on because you all watch my channel, so you all like romance. And the biggest problem I have with this topic, so what spurred it was I was talking in my BookTube Real Talk tag about how a lot of people have been picking up popular romances. So The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang, and the other part I want to get to is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas because it went on sale and it's super hyped because everybody in the romance community, not everybody, but a lot of people love that book. And I came across two booktubers who are primarily YA fantasy booktubers, read it and said that there were scenes that made them super uncomfortable because of how possessive and dominating Michael acted, and they compared him to Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. As someone who's read both of those books, they are night and day. And this makes me so mad to talk about. There is just so much substance to The Kiss Quotient and everything that book stands for you to compare it to 50 Shades of Grey. Now, people are entitled to their opinions. Some people like that book. Honestly, there was no substance to 50 Shades of Grey, to me. The Kiss Quotient has so much diverse rep in it, from a romance about a woman with Asperger's, which I have never read in my life, to the fact that they were of diverse cultural backgrounds, and they talk about Michael's family and their culture, and they talk, it's just everything about that book was what the romance community wants at this point in time. There's so much diversity going on because we've gone so long without it, that The Kiss Quotient is giving the community what we need right now. And the fact that people are angry that it's too romance heavy, and that I don't even know what scene they're talking about where they said Michael was too possessive, because it's Michael is the sweetest character book boyfriend of all time. So I don't know what you're talking about. And so it's the fact that romance readers are looked down upon for the books they read, and people who read romance are super judgmental and bash on the romance. And I've seen people on BookTube, I don't remember who it was, but they talked about how they can't rate romance books higher than a 3 stars. Oh, this was a really good book, but it's romance, 3 stars. What makes something like literary fiction more worthy of a 5-star than romance? Because it's a romance? And literally every story told is going to have a romance. Not every story told, but think about the movies everybody loves. The classics. Star Wars. Hello, Han Solo and Princess Leia, the most classic romance of all time. Lord of the Rings has a huge romance. Whatever, I don't like those two people, the really cute romance that happened. I've seen those movies once, but everything has a romance. And it's annoying how people put down romance when that is the thing that literally everybody at some point in their lives is going to connect to. As human beings, our society revolves around finding the perfect person for you, getting married, having a family, having that person there for you. So, romance is what everybody can relate to. This whole video came out. This video's all over the place because I don't know what to talk about first. So I apologize to you people who do not like unorganized videos, but this video came about. I'm doing it now because someone messaged me that they read Captive in the Dark by C.J. Roberts. They read Captive in the Dark, and they wanted to know if I would read it and if I liked it. I read the book. I told them, I was you can check out my review on Goodreads if you want to see it. I don't really remember a lot about it. I don't remember my thoughts. I read it over a year ago. And she messaged me saying she was so thankful that I enjoyed it and wanted me to address the fact that so many people gave it a 1 star and they're like, you are an awful human being if you at all liked this book. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped and like she falls in love with this guy that's like part of her kidnapping. And so the problem I see with people saying that romance is not a real genre are a lot of times with the dark romances. And I've seen this stigma all throughout the time I've had my channel. I talked about my favorite bad boy romances, and that did not go over well with some people. Some people don't like dark bad boy romances. And I specifically remember someone saying, books like Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, would you want your high school students reading this and wanting a relationship like that? No. First of all, Ugly Love is written for adults. My 15-year-old students should not be reading that book. Would I have read it when I was 15? Yeah, probably. But I'm not going to hand it to them. Second of all, I'm not reading these books, specifically dark romances, to promote those kind of relationships. Do I want someone like Michael from Corrupt? No. Do I want to date someone like Damon from Corrupt? No. But their romances are just so angsty and dark and gritty, and I just love the entertainment value of it. I'm sorry. You guys who like thrillers and slasher films, you aren't promoting serial killers. You're enjoying the entertainment value of that genre. That's what we're doing with dark romances. There was recently a dark romance that came out and the person was like DNF at 15%, and she's like, I cannot stand by people promoting and romanticizing abusive relationships. They're more like the guy taunts the girl and they're bad boys. And we're not promoting abusive relationships. It's escapist fiction as long as everything's consensual. Yeah, there are books where it's like Torn by Carrie and Cole. I thought it was a little creepy. I didn't like that romance. I gave it a 3 star. Am I gonna go after the people who loved it and say you're an awful, disgusting human being? How could you ever like a romance like this? No, we all like our own genres. So the fact that like people are shaming people who like romance, specifically dark romance is where my issue is, just like makes me so mad. Let people like what they want and they enjoy it for the entertainment value. They don't actually want that to happen in real life. It's called fiction for a reason. Now, the next point I want to bring up. This person commented on my video of my BookTube Real Talk tag, and I talked about how romance is not at all represented or respected in the BookTube community. It's a true fact. Makes me super angry. If you didn't know, romance makes up a huge portion of the book industry, monetarily. Romance rakes in the money. Millions of people read romance. Why is it not a valid genre? I went to the bookstore while I was in DC. It was like Kramer or something. There was no romance section. Lacey and I were looking for romance. We found a few from Berkeley. I think we found The Kiss Quotient, we found The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory, and we found Sally Thorne. I found Outlander. That was it. Yet we have bookstores like the Rip Bodice that are thriving out in California, and they primarily sell romance. So, anyways, I got this comment, and I said it's really sad that, like, you know, people aren't reading romance and they knock it down. This person's made me livid. Romance will always be at the bottom of the literary barrel because it's a hugely formulaic genre where deviating from the norm is literally frowned upon. I don't really see that, but okay. Not only that, but most of it is actual smut and written for pure sexual titillation with something that barely passes for plot. No. And this is coming from someone who used to be a romance reader and blogger. Okay. I just can't fool myself into believing some alternate truth. There's definitely some excellent romances out there that break the mold, but those are far and few between, like Amy Harmon and Colleen Hoover. I agree. They write very emotional, heavy romances that have a lot of substance to them. I feel like most romance readers are being disingenuous when they complain that the genre isn't as respected. They expect some huge validation when so much of it is thinly disguised porn. I don't know what romance you're reading, like if you're only reading all books like 50 Shades, sure, yeah. But that makes up barely any of the romance genre. Of the romance book I read, Candy Steiner's new book deals with some very heavy topics. It's romance, and it's amazing. The Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward is paranormal romance, but the amount of emotional turmoil, the social commentary that book makes, like, who are you saying that romance has no plot? What romance books are you reading? Pretty much all the romances that Berkeley Romance has been coming out with lately have so much substance, so much going for them, that to call them whatever she said, thinly disguised porn, I was seriously offended by this. You're in the right to believe whatever you want to believe, but if you're gonna come after romance and say that it has no plot, that there's no creativity and it's all formulaic. Every single genre has formulaic books that are nothing special. Every genre. Thrillers. How many times have you read that same plot over and over again in a thriller? No one's coming after thrillers. There are so many authors who are so brilliant at writing. And like she made a good point, Amy Harmon, Colleen Hoover, they write phenomenal books. And people still have problems with Colleen Hoover. And the word that everyone throws out is problematic. Okay. Like Ugly Love. And would I want to date Miles Archer? No. Dude's got issues. Some serious issues. And he does treat Tate pretty poorly. But the emotional turmoil that Miles went through in that book and what we learned about his past, there's so much substance to that book. And I know people have problems with November 9. I am aware. But it's not like she's trying to show us what the perfect romance is. Can you imagine what the romance community would be if every character was representing a healthy, perfect relationship? No one wants to read about that. Just like no one wants to watch a movie about a happy family and that's the plot of the movie. Fiction thrives on conflict. So your romance is gonna have conflict. The King series by T.M. Frazier, gross things happen in those books. King is not a good guy at all, especially to Doe. He's awful to her. That's the love interest. But the books are just so addicting. And we all have our own likes in fiction. So the fact that romance is just like the easy target makes me so angry. Very angry. Romance is a real genre. Romance has very complex plots, very complex characters, and just because the whole book revolves around someone's relationships are the most complex things we have as human beings. So I don't know why it's okay to bash the romance genre. Harry Potter has romance. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. I don't know how put together this video is, but let me know down below what your thoughts are. The person who commented that is probably watching this video, so sorry for using your comment, but it just really made me angry. And just proves my point that people are never going to take romance seriously. Yet romance is such a selling genre. So many people read romance. I don't know if it'll ever be validated. I don't, and it's sad because look at the authors that have been able to make a living off of it. I was reading an article and it said that because of the digital age, romance authors have thrived off of self-publishing. Because that's what we want to read. There's not enough books coming out for it. And I was reading an article about the first ever bodice ripper. It came out in 1972. It is, I want to read it now. I have to find a copy of it. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, in 1972, The Flame and the Flower by Kathleen E. Woodowis was published. It was rejected multiple times by publishers, so it was published as a paperback. And in 5 years, it sold 2,580,000 copies. In 5 years. as the first bodice ripper ever published. And it said Avon repeated this success with another book in 1974. And the success of those two new novels ushered in the quick and furious production of the paperback novels we know today. Since the 70s, the romance genre has thrived in the book market. So why are we still shaming it? It's a good question. Okay, well, that's all I have for you. This is a ridiculously long video, and I apologize, but let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I honestly don't understand why you watch me if you think romance isn't a real genre, because that's all I talk about, and that's why I don't get why some people would comment that stuff on my channel. Okay, then don't watch. Sorry. That's all I have though. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.